We bring in now Shannon Spake at the Geico Outkick Studios. Is that the Beastie Boys in the background there for Shannon Spake, Danny G?
Yes, it is.
There you go. Shannon, important question to start off with you here. Do you know anything about trees?
What kind? What kind of trees?
Like trees in general. Like, have you ever paid someone to trim trees in your yard?
Yes.
So, did you hear me talking the other day? Like, I'm still a little bit crestfallen. We have a magnolia tree in the front yard. Beautiful magnolia tree. My wife decides she needs to get all the trees trimmed. I don't really know what precipitated this decision, but she made the decision to get the trees trimmed. Our magnolia tree, it looks like I should have to put, it looks naked. I'm physically uncomfortable in the vicinity of the magnolia tree. It's like a dog that gets all of its hair cut off. And I don't even know what to do about the way the magnolia tree looks right now.
How does Laura Travis feel about the magnolia tree?
She was actually in disbelief. Now, she's done research on the magnolia tree status, and she claims that it's going to be okay. But I live in the South, and I've lived in the South for most of my life. And I've driven past magnolia trees a lot, and they are gorgeous, spectacular.
Beautiful.
Look, one of the iconic images, I would say, of life in the South. I've never seen a magnolia tree that looks like the one in my front yard right now. It has
it's like a mangy magnolia tree.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it exists. Like the top of the magnolia tree has got I don't know. I mean, it's like a little bit of a cone at the top, and then there is nothing. There's no the magnolia tree. What makes it beautiful is kids can go play in it. It's kind of large and anyway, it's like a beautiful tree. And we took all the branches off.
Yeah, that's
by
tough.
we,
It'll
I
grow
mean
back, though,
the
right?
tree trimmer. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they would. I don't know. I'm in disbelief over the way this went. The other thing is, I feel like there are many things that happen on a day-to-day existence now where I think this is why I have to continue to work. I'm going to go bankrupt one day. The other thing that's going on right now is we are getting ready for Halloween, right? And yesterday. So my wife, I don't even know how much money she spent on Halloween decorations, but they're like,
I get it.
You sent me a picture from your house where you have some decorations. Like we have all sorts of fake dead bodies, not real dead bodies, fake dead bodies. All different sorts of things all over the house. Scary kids, like everything you can imagine. The new addition this year is we have a smoke breathing dragon. And it looks like one of the Game of Thrones dragons. And we now have it on a porch. I put up a video of it yesterday. It's going to scare kids to death. But if there is a broke Clay Travis edition, it's going to be and then we decided to buy, and by we, I mean my wife, a huge dragon. I was like, how much does this cost? And she said, you don't need to worry about it. And the reality is I probably do need to worry about how much a dragon that looks like it's breathing smoke on our front porch on the upstairs to scare kids probably costs. But it does look pretty amazing.
I love it. So I let my kids spend, I let them get one big thing every year. My kids love Halloween, and I'm pretty disappointed because we're actually moving this year, and we're literally moving in 2 weeks. And so
where are you moving? You had the place on the lake? This seemed like you guys had a kind of an ideal existence.
Yeah, right.
Is this a mom choice?
No, we're building on the same property. So we're literally building right next door to where we live, which has been a pain in the butt, Clay, because my husband's actually the GC on the project.
Yep.
So I don't know. I posted a picture. I've been staining doors for literally 2 weeks. We had 35 doors that we had to stain, and that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Every spare moment that we have is over there. My husband just finished tiling the backsplash of our kitchen because we lost one of our contractors, and so it's been a pain in the butt. I feel so bad for my kids because literally they don't see us. My dog sits in the front yard all day. We're over there all day long, and we can't decorate this year because we're sort of in between homes. But we do have this decrepit, this old married folks that we found at Lowe's where they're they're skeletons dressed as though they're walking down the aisle. That's the picture that I sent to you. But I'll let my kids decorate as much as it doesn't last forever, Clay. Let them do it. Have fun.
What's your plan going to be for?
Gone.
What's your plan going to be for Halloween?
Well, I have to be I'm on the road. So I actually most Halloweens I am on the road.
Yeah.
There's only a couple.
Well, this is a tough one too because it's Saturday, so you'll definitely be on the road. But I'm saying, are your kids going to be out trick or treating? What's the Charlotte vibe in your neighborhood?
they'll go trick or treating
Yeah.
for sure. We'll find somewhere that they'll go. I haven't really heard anything about like whether they're going to completely shut it down. But we have a neighborhood where we could get 4 or 5 kids around and they could go trick or treating, and they're wearing masks anyways. You know, so
that's my
kind of
argument.
how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's been a big discussion in our neighborhood, but I'm pretty excited. I mean, I think most kids are going to be out and be able to trick or treat and have some sense of
100%,
normalcy.
yeah.
So I had an experience on Tuesday night that's somewhat similar to what you have been experiencing. I was in a football stadium with 8,000 fans, so I went and watched the Bills-Titans game. Have you been in a stadium yet with fans? Were there fans in the Battle of Pennsylvania at all?
I got to tell you, Clay, so this past weekend was the first time that I've had fans all season long, and there was only 5,500 fans.
Yep.
And I was literally jumping. I was literally jumping up and down because I could feel I was
Even with
excited.
5,000, you could feel a tremendous difference.
Oh my gosh, I was excited. Like I was looking at my camera guy and I was like, this is what it's all about, right? I mean, because for weeks and weeks and weeks, like they run out and you're kind of like, all right, the game's starting, you know, it's just this weird kind of vibe. And, you know, then there's like the terrible towels, I took a couple of videos and posted it. Like, yes, I could feel an incredible difference with just 5,500 fans in the stands.
All right, so what do you think of the Steelers? Obviously, a lot of people are talking about Le'Veon Bell being released by the Jets, which happened last night during the game. The Steelers made the decision to move on from Antonio Brown, and they are 4-0 for the first time in 41 years. What kind of vibe did you get covering them? Does it feel like a team that believes they are legitimately a Super Bowl contender?
Yes, because I think it all starts with Ben Roethlisberger. And I think what he experienced last year with the injury and the rehab and coming back, and he has openly said that he came back, and he told us this on the conference call, like, I came back for the guys on the line, like Pouncey and DeCastro, guys who haven't had the success that I've had. He said, listen, I have Super Bowl wins. I've done a lot in my career. I could have hung up my cleats. I could have said that this is it, but he really wants to win it for these guys. And I think it's in a really, really unique kind of vibe right now within that organization. And listen, the game I did, like, who's Chase Claypool, right? I mean, like, this kid lit it up in this game, and you have so many weapons, and now people are going to be protecting him, and then you've got Juju open. I mean, I definitely think that they have the weapons. You have to get DeCastro healthy. I know he went out in our game, and he had missed 2 games because I just think he's such a huge part of that offensive line, and keeping Ben healthy is going to be key.
What game do you have this weekend?
I have the Bears at the Panthers. This is the very first time that I'm going to cover the Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
it's
how
crazy.
Cool is that? You get to stay home.
Yeah. Well, it's just cool because honestly, like, if you don't have the ticket, NFL games are blacked out in a lot of areas. So most of my family and friends, like, they don't get to see me on the sidelines because I'm, in Chicago or in Pittsburgh or wherever. But this weekend will be really cool because I'll be here. And that's fun, like, to, have people that, like, be kind of proud about, like, even NASCAR people, right? When NASCAR folks see me on the sidelines of NFL, like, my phone just blows up. And it's fun to kind of be there and be, the NASCAR Shannon on the NFL sidelines.
Do you think the Panthers are a legitimate threat in the NFC South, or is what they've accomplished the past several weeks a little bit of smoke and mirrors?
Oh, I really like Teddy Bridgewater, and like, who would have thunk, right? Who would have thought that this would have been, and I think this is an interesting matchup because, you got Nick Foles against Teddy Bridgewater, 2 guys who have kind of been like the backups, right? The guys that kind of come off the bench. And I listen, the weapons that have kind of emerged with the injury of Christian McCaffrey, who, by the way, I think they're evaluating him this week to see if he can potentially come back. I don't know if it's too soon. I'd love to have him back in my game this weekend. But I think Robbie Anderson, Mike Davis, I covered Mike Davis at South Carolina. Again, he was sort of the backup for Lattimore the year that Lattimore was no longer at South Carolina. So you've got a bunch of guys who I feel like have been overlooked. And that's dangerous because when they get an opportunity and they have the skills, I think that they can be really dangerous. I'm excited to see this Panther team. I'm excited to see Teddy Bridgewater out there. Who doesn't love Teddy Bridgewater and everything that he's overcome?
What's the situation in Charlotte? Will there be fans present in the stadium there?
Yeah. I believe so because I believe I haven't really dug into it, but I do believe because I think that they had fans at their last home game, and I know that they had fans at Atlanta because this was the first time that they had fans. We were at Atlanta a couple weeks ago when the Bears played them, and you're watching them have that lead slip away again, and you're just like, oh boy, here it goes again. So it's been an interesting. I did like your list, but who would have thought that the New Orleans Saints wouldn't have been in your top 5 at the beginning of the season, right? Wouldn't you have thought that the Saints would have been right up there?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think anybody would have anticipated the Titans and the Steelers being 4-0. I mean, like you said, the Steelers, who you just finished the Battle of Pennsylvania there, they hadn't been 4-0 in 41 years.
Right.
The Titans have only been 4-0 one time before. And I don't think – I mean, the Packers and the Seahawks even. I mean, I think people expected them to be good. I don't know that people anticipated them to be as dominant as they have been so far. So, I mean, this has been, just in terms of sheer enjoyment, a really fun NFL season as long as you don't live in New York.
Yeah, our boy Ryan Tannehill's lighting it up, huh?
Yeah, your Dolphins made a great move to let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the biggest question, right? Were the Titans going to look like fools for giving him the big contract that they did based on a relatively small sample size? And now through 4 weeks, I mean, he looks like one of the 5-6 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, Dolphin fans are pretty used to us losing guys who go on to have great success in other places. That's sort of the theme over the last 20 years about the Dolphin fans. So, yeah, it is what it is. But the Dolphins beat the 49ers. My aunts and uncles are really happy about that one.
So last question for you as we get closer to Halloween.
Yeah.
What is the scariest level of movie that you will let your boys watch?
Clay, I am on the road the other day, and my kids call me, and they're like, Mommy, we just saw It.
Oh, my God.
Lets them
Who made the
these
decision?
movies.
Was that a husband decision to let them watch It?
Yes. So my kids will watch, like, they'll go through, like, the Apple TV, and they'll watch previews for scary movies. And, like, this is funny. So one time I had, like, a Pennywise poster on set because one of the racetracks that we go to is the Monster Mile. So one of the things I do is I hold up pictures of monsters on one of our shows and have Larry McReynolds or Jamie McMurray guess which monster it is. So I had this huge poster of Pennywise that I put in the backseat of my car. Such a bad mom. And I had one of my kids go open the door, and I got it on video. It was really funny. But yes, It is the scary. They're 10.
That is a super scary movie.
I can't even watch it. I can't.
Did they sleep okay by themselves after watching that movie?
They did because they see through it. They think it's really funny, and they see sort of the movie magic in it, and they know it's not real. So
my youngest,
my husband, I'm like, you are literally waking up in the middle of the night with them every night for the rest of their lives if they can't sleep, but they're fine.
What's funny about that is my oldest son showed just YouTube clips of it, like advertisements. And he was like 5 at the time, maybe 4. What my youngest son calls the scary clown, and he was like, "Oh, this is so scary, right?" I mean, it's a YouTube clip designed to terrify people, like the 2-minute clip or whatever. Yeah. And so we were having this discussion, my wife and I, the other day, like what exactly? Because I love scary movies, and figuring out when your kids are old enough to be able to watch a scary movie is a tough balancing act. And for instance, the Scream movies, right? Like they're a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but also they're a lot of fun. So at what age can you dive into that one? I wouldn't have even comprehended for like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, bring them. Don't let them come and have sleepovers at my house because they'll be watching Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street by the time they're 11.
No kidding. Those were staples when we were
crazy.
kids. We will talk to you next.
Oh, my God. I was so afraid of
Which
Freddy.
one did you like better, the Friday the 13th or Jason or Freddy?
Nightmare on Elm Street, like, still scares me. Like, if I see, like, a Freddy Krueger, if someone's, like, dressed up in Freddy Krueger, like, I walk on the other side of the road. Like, I am still frightened of that whatever he is. I mean, that was it for me, 100%.
We need to play. We need to play that for sure when we come back out of break with Danny G, the Nightmare on Elm Street song, which is along with the Halloween song, 2 of the scariest songs that have ever existed. Shannon Spake, we will talk to you next week.